vacation. You're doing better than we had in the past. She.
I'll take her.
I won't tell you what.
Are you sure? It's the
They still hate me at that age now.
He wants you to visit him.
We'll come back.
Take that because I'm not.
I don't know. I'm terrible.
where you have some experience.
Welcome to the Town Council meeting, March 12th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Councilman Haddocks. Present. Councilman Bounds. Councilman Dennis.
Present.
Councilwoman Faison.
Present.
Councilman Ogle.
Present.
Mayor Pilar.
Present. Would you please silence your phone and stand for the invocation by Councilman Haddocks and the pledge by Councilman Dennis.
Lord, please bless us and bless our town. Guide us tonight in our decisions and our conversation. We thank you for everything that we have and the challenges that we are given. We know that you're always by our side. Thank you, Lord.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda is approval of the February 12th, 2025 council meeting minutes. Are there any changes, corrections, or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, they're accepted. Next is approval of the January 2025 financial reports. Any changes, additions, or corrections on those? Hearing none, they're approved. The next thing on the agenda is a public comment period. Members of the audience will have 3 minutes to make a statement or express a concern at the outset of the meeting. We do have one group here tonight that's going to be recognized first. And what I'll do is call up Mr. Henry Motti to introduce and tell us about why he's here.
All right. Thank you for having us. I'm Henry Motti. I'm the president of the local SAR chapter, Pierre George Rousseau. And we're here tonight to congratulate a young lady whose name is Grace Hardigan. She's an 11th grade student at St. Scholastica Academy, and she is being recognized for her winning an essay contest in the George and Stella Knight Essay Contest, which is through the local SAR chapter, but also through the state chapter. She won at the national, she's going to the national level this July, and to compete, each applicant had to submit an 800 to 1,200 word essay based on an event, a person, or philosophy or ideal associated with the American Revolution, the Declaration of Independence, or the framing of the U.S. Constitution. The essays are judged based on their historical accuracy, clarity, organization, grammar, and spelling, and documentation. Grace's essay was entitled "Breaking Chains, the Women Who Defied Oppression During the American Revolution," and explained the important and overlooked role women played in the success of the American Revolution. And tonight we'd like to have Grace come up. And also we have Mr. Leonard. No, he wasn't in the Revolution, but he's dressed that way. And we'd like to present her with the certificate and a check for $500. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Have them come up back here.
Okay.
Get the council with me.
I'll come up. The mayor wants one.
Yeah, if y'all will. All three of you come up. Come up, come
All right,
around.
all y'all, if y'all want to stand, whatever
Yeah,
y'all
so
want,
that's-
whatever y'all feel like doing.
That's what, if y'all will come
All right.
over. We'll get with them. Congratulations.
She's the one that matters.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Give me liberty.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again. Good job. Yes, sir.
Joe, before y'all leave, let me just say something to you. Joe contacted me about this award and recognizing. Grace is a resident of Madisonville. She's not in the city limits, but she certainly has a Madisonville address. So we want to recognize our residents, and certainly we want to wish you well. But again, before you leave, Joe, we never have officially really recognized you for all the work and help you were in getting the hours on the bridge changed. And you helped the town and the residents a tremendous amount. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you, because I know how hard you worked to help me get that done a couple of years ago. And that was probably a 4 to 5 year undertaking. So I know how many times we came to you, how many times you and I spoke about it. So thank you very much for everything that you do for the town of Madisonville.
Thank you, Joe.
We'll come paint your house just for that.
Now it is open mic for any public comment. Anyone here to speak to the council? Please come up, introduce yourself and your address.
Okay. Stacy Domain, 103 Renee Street. I would like to once again impress upon the council, before any of this polyphosphate enters the water system, I am going through my science books. It talks about the algae bloom and other consequences. I have also spoken with my doctor to let her know that if it does go in and I happen to drink any, it is in my medical history. Because the first thing, if you have a medical problem, the first thing the doctor will take you off is salt. And polyphosphate is a salt used in fertilizer. I don't think I'm a green growing plant, and I know I'm not a tree.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak to the council? Yes, ma'am, come up. State your name and your address.
Kathy Faison, 207 St. Anne Street. I'd like to see if the council would come by and check out the pipe, the drainage pipe they put in the, on their road, the paper road, because it's not put in right. It's up on top of the ground, and there is no drainage pipe. It should be draining, and it's draining. The pipe is lower than the swamp is this way, and water can't go up.
Well, certainly the council has the, I mean, you're inviting the council to do that.
I'm inviting anybody to come by who could correct it.
Okay. They can come, certainly, and.
I need it to be corrected. It's a little bitty pond there that stagnates water. The water stays there.
Your request is heard.
Thank you. Are you going to come by and see it?
Certainly, I'll be glad to come by. And if the grade was
And
shot.
correct it?
If there's a problem that needs to be correcting. But you.
There is
made
a problem that needs to be corrected because no drainage is put above ground.
You made the request, and certainly will, the
Okay.
council can certainly go observe that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll come by, but is this the exact spot? Is it close to Roland's house, or?
It's behind.
Down the block from us.
So,
Behind this and that is.
yes, so the street behind Roland's. You know where Al's, the plumber, she's next door on the other side of
It's Third and
that
St.
street.
Anne. It's right there, Third and St. Anne, and it's the paper road that goes there. And the pipe was rusted completely out. And they replaced it, and they did not go far enough into the swampland. It's right on the property line, and they dug a little scoop like this. So when it rains, the water goes like this into the scoop, and then comes back onto the property.
Thank you. Is anyone else here to speak to the council? Okay. Moving into old business, water system evaluation is the first thing on the agenda. And it's there simply because we have unidirectional flushing that's scheduled for April 14th and 15th. And it's, we're just trying to get out as much publicity as far as that's concerned. Is there any questions about that procedure from anyone?
There will be a required boil advisory, right? Am I correct? Okay, I thought it was, without a doubt there would be, so it's not? Okay,
We have 2 engineering firms that will be assisting us during that unidirectional flushing, and they expect that it will be, but we're preparing for that.
and that'll only affect that side of town, or, okay, thank you, Kyle.
And only part of that side of town, not the entire area. It'll be the whole side of it. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next thing on the agenda is town park improvements. Oh, I'm sorry. Come up to the mic, please. Wait until you get to the mic where it's being videotaped and.
No. Good God almighty, common sense. All right, if y'all gonna have, if they are going to talk about the boil, why can't they do, you know, like you call to tell us with the late, or this is due, or that's due, or whatever? All right, can't they call all of the residents and let the business, particularly the business people, know that this is going to take place? I don't want to go to a restaurant and find out that the food there has been contaminated.
Certainly can't be done.
Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is town park improvements, tennis courts, shade structures, an update on that. And that update actually will be, will come later on in the engineering comments. The bids were opened and a company has been selected. So during that comment, I'm sure that'll come up. If we can just postpone any further comment until then. Next thing on the agenda is wage study update. Since the last time we spoke and since the last at the committee meeting, there's no update. The company that's doing the study hadn't rescheduled with the finance committee, so we're waiting to hear back from them, and we'll give you an update as soon as we get one. All right, new business department reports is engineering.
Okay, give everybody a copy of the project summary update, and the first we need to look at is the point repairs. We've gotten approval from facility planning, and we will be advertising that project on March the 19th and bid opening on April the 15th.
That's the $2 million sewer.
Yeah, point repairs.
Yes.
Okay. And going to the next page. We had a bid opening, and I gave you a copy, certified copy of the bid opening. The low bidder was Corks Construction Services of Covington, and a bid amount of $353,000. And they were the low bidder. We had a total of 7 bidders, which is very good. And just need for y'all to award it tonight.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to give the bid to Court Construction at a price of $353,000 for the Madisonville Park Tennis Courts and Park Amenities Project.
Motion by Councilman Dennis, second by Councilman Haddocks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed? That'll be signed.
Yeah, once we get the contracts together, and then we'll have a pre-construction meeting, and at that time we'll have some idea when they'll start and finish.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, on the next page, the USDA, we got their comments back on the sidewalks at the riverfront, and they wanted some more details, and that's what we're working on right now. As soon as we get those back and get their approval, we'll go ahead and advertise that.
Which one is that?
That
That's the
is
first one on the third
Water
page.
Street improvements.
Water Street improvements, the second part of that.
Second part. Okay, we have added, we have three new projects. We have a new 6-inch water line on Fifth Street between Morgan and Johnson. And we, in the Park Oak Estates subdivision, we're going to replace a 1-inch gas main with a new 2-inch gas main. And on Old Ponchatoula Highway, we'll be replacing an existing 6-inch water line with a new 6-inch water line. I think it's about 2,000 feet.
There's three different projects. The Fifth Street water main is a projected cost of $77,000. The Pine Oaks replacement, the gas line replacement is estimated at $288,000, and the Old Ponchatoula Highway main, water main improvements is to be determined. They're just started work on that last week, or for the last 2 weeks after our committee meeting. I called and we asked them to get started on that.
It doesn't have an estimate on it yet, but you'll have that shortly.
So all three projects, in addition to the other work that PEC is doing, is now on their project summary update. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Joe.
Yes, sir.
What exactly do you need to do to get to a point where the Old Ponchatoula water main improvements can be, presented for bids?
Okay, I didn't know you were going to do that in-house, or you going to put it out for bid, or whatever?
No.
Okay.
So you're drawing plans and specs. We already had that area mapped by Owens and I forget the name.
One and white.
Okay, so time frame, what does that look like between today and actually getting to a point where we would ask for bids?
Oh, I'd say at least 30 days.
And just for the people who are here, the project that we just voted to accept the bids on is to provide and install complete and in-place rehab resurfacing of the tennis courts, provide and install and a fully functioning lighting system along the walking path, provide complete and in-place new seats along the walking path, and shade sails. Is that over the
playground, the splash pad.
Over the splash, okay. And new trash receptacles, and construct complete and in-place shade structures, mobilization. Not sure what that is. Maybe just to get the equipment there. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for engineering?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next on the agenda is police.
Good evening. We had a relatively slow month outside of Mardi Gras. Like I think I mentioned last meeting, we share resources because a lot of the events around us are very large. The one we have is large. So we worked the Mardi Gras parade here, the boat parade here. Then we had we assisted Mandeville with the Crew of Eve. We assisted Company with Olympia and also their Mardi Gras Day parade. And we was able to do that with, I don't want to say a minimum amount of overtime, but we had a managed overtime because we utilized some of our reserves, which was at free cost. So without those people assisting us, it'd be very difficult for us to have our events. So we got a good sharing agreement with all those agencies. So they helped us out at the same time. I wanted to introduce Ken Geeshard. This is going to be our new hire actually short tonight. Ken, if you can stand up, please. Ken's a career law enforcement officer. Like I told y'all in the past meetings, I think we were extremely, he's going to be an extreme benefit. We were extremely happy to get him onto the department. He's going through his training now. He's going to getting all the certifications up to date and everything, but we got some good high hopes for Ken. And Ken, good luck. I appreciate you coming tonight, buddy. Thank you. We attended an instructor's course yesterday for our new tasers. We finally was able to get that done. We had an instructor come in, and Mike and Henry and Paul are all considered now instructors. So any new employees we get, we can train our own people now. I was there. I got called away to a call. It took me several hours. So I'm going to be probably the first one they train whenever we get it. So they're all instructors. So to have in-house instructors is a tremendous benefit to us because we can outsource that to other people and train their people also. So we were happy to be able to get 3 instructors for that device. Excuse me. I'll go over some numbers now. Like I said, January, February is normally somewhat slower months for us with the exception of Mardi Gras. But our traffic stops last year was 98. This year they dropped to 78. Our citations went from 80 last year to 66 this year. Warnings 41, 31. We had no accidents in the month of February for 24 nor 25. So it's a nice, safe month to drive. We had 4 arrests down to 3 for this year. I attribute a lot of the traffic stops in the citation. Henry was down. He was out for several weeks with the illness. We had another officer that was on vacation, so we were not a skeleton crew, but we were down some. So I think that affected our numbers. And but it was outside of the Mardi Gras. We had a relatively slow month. Stand for any questions, comments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Pete.
Maintenance.
All right, I'm gonna start with the gas system. It's kind of like everything else right now, very slow. We only had 5 new customers last month, new services. It's probably the first time it's been that low in 10 years, probably. It's slow out there. St. Joseph Street drainage, I don't know if you guys seen from St. Joseph, from Maine to water. We replaced drainage. Both sidewalks were replaced to 5 feet wide. And we plan to overlay that street, hopefully the end of next week, and that street will be completely rehabbed. That was, I don't know if you call it a grant or a $100,000 state award to the town. So once we finish this street, I'll see what kind of monies we have left to jump to. It was for St. Francis Street also. We also did some drainage repair right here on the side of the back of this building and the side, Morgan Street and 3rd Street. And tomorrow we will be beginning some on Pine and St. Mary, another section of drainage there. We also put up a new, hopefully it'll be functional tomorrow, a new automatic gate at our maintenance barn. So we're trying to keep out people during the day when we're not there. We've had some illegal dumping and different things there when there's no employees around to monitor that. So after that gate is locked, no one who is not a town employee or contractor will be allowed inside the facility. We had also a $25,000 CWEF grant. I think I've used all those funds. We replaced the fence at the old Punchatoula well. We fixed a few water leaks, repaired a pump, bought a freeze-proof container for the splash pad, backflow preventer and everything, so we don't have to wrap that with blankets anymore. I'll update you guys on the water. So after y'all met, I think at the committee meeting, y'all wanted to look into cammering the existing water line. So I got with PEC. She in-house with her firm, the Jefferson Parish, I guess, side of their firm, a firm out of Texas and another firm. All 3 said that cammering the water line would not be feasible for the cost to do it, the cost to temporarily give all the residents water, and what results we would find. They just said it's not cost feasible. They advised just to go ahead and change out the water line. So we advised PEC to go ahead and start drawing plans and specs for that and go to the bid process. If we're in March, I would say March, April, probably June, July, go out for bid. or have a number to see exactly what you got, what the budget will be on that. Any questions?
Did we ever, oh, I'm sorry, did we ever hear from, I forget the firm, the one that did the modeling? I know that you sent the results that you guys, when you shot grade.
They didn't think that had any good or bad to it.
Okay, thank you.
It was actually the opposite, Gary, it was actually higher than lower. So it didn't make any sense. They weren't one of the ones that's not their specialty. One of the firms had they called it a Caterpillar camera that they could put in the hydrant. And they said there's no technology to measure the scale. They could even use some kind of sonar or something. It would show the pipe, but it wouldn't have any way to measure if it was this thick or this thick, or so they said it's pretty more of an integrity thing. We know the pipe's not leaking, so I mean they didn't think that cost plus running up temporary lines on top of the ground would just be astronomical.
Because of the time frame.
And the time frame would be 3 to 5 days to camera that line.
So we would have to service people with water, so we'd have to do bypass.
Yep. And all of Highway 22 would be turned off while that was, so it was a whole lot bigger area.
Okay,
So
thank you.
At last month's meeting, we talked about pressure in the lines and having meters installed. Do you remember that?
Yes.
With John. Have you made any progress on
I
that?
purchased 2. I'm waiting on them to come in.
Okay, so where would those be installed?
One, the corner of Cedar and Renee, Madisonville Junior High, and the other on Pine Street, 304 Pine Street, which would be, what's that, St. Paul and Pine?
All right, and would that record the measurements?
That would record the anytime pressure. Yep.
So that would allow you to know if you needed, that would allow you to know if you needed to do a boil or what.
Yeah, anytime we're flushing, I can just watch my phone and see at time pressures.
And Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, those gauges are monitored just like the gas gauges. If anything happens, you automatically
Correct.
get alert.
Once we get them set, I'll set parameters on it. So we'll set it at the normal pressures, and anything so many pounds over or under is send me alert.
So the response time will be fairly rapid on that.
Yep. It will be actually faster than our Integra alerts that we have on the wells, so.
Any other questions? Thank you. 1 second, come up. If,
Where on Renee Street is he putting this? I didn't hear.
Right by, across from Troy Badons, in that curve.
Okay.
thank you. Next on the agenda is permits.
Mayor, Council, this is a permit report for February. It's kind of slow month. We have 1 residential remodel at 404 Bordeaux Court, 2 commercial sign permits, 1 for the nail salon in town in Covington, and 1 for Charles Gambino down here. He came and got his permit and put his sign in compliance. I did 11 inspections on ongoing permitted projects in town. Teacher's been helping me with the information from my insurance company across the street over here. I need some figures on like what it costs for lift stations and just stuff like that. You have to turn that into FEMA because, you know, they'll reimburse us of everything. We have a storm and all that. And then I'm trying to finish up with the mitigation plan to turn it into the parish so they can approve everybody, and then FEMA has to approve everything. So it's just a waiting game.
Okay.
That's all I have.
We get asked constantly, but any word on the food mart or?
Yeah, Food Mart's, it's getting close. I talked to him last week and he said, got a couple little things to do, and Carl and I have been communicating with him on the meters, the water meters and stuff, if he wants to do one big meter or keep it like it is separate, you know, from the little, I believe the Mexican, and then, yeah. And then I spoke with, I can't think of his name, the one that owns
Brett.
the Ugly Dog building, the land.
Yeah.
And I spoke with him today, this morning, he called me, and the new tenants are gonna come in, and I'm gonna speak with the contractor, see what they're gonna do. I'm trying to help them out with having to go through all that plans and stuff to the fire marshal, because I already have plans that were done from the previous owner, and trying to help them get through that process with the fire marshal and the Board of Health. Of course, they got to get approval from them. But instead of submitting all these plans and, you know, trying to,
They just have to submit the change, if there's any changes.
yeah, anytime it changes hands, got to repeat and go through the process. Spoke with a gentleman today. He called me on, I believe, right over here on the little snow barber shop, and I'm working on that for him. I told him I'd try to give him my answer. I'll go through the ordinances tomorrow morning early and see if there's anything that restricts that, but I don't think there is. But
And that, just to clarify, that was the young gentleman that asked about serving food at the barber shop, but actually having a food trailer and serving barbecue. He said it's like Subway, but barbecue. So just making sure there's nothing in the ordinances or anything that would prevent that.
And then we have a gentleman call me today. He purchased a house down here. I don't know the people's names. I don't know. The guy who owns the gas station owned it, and he sold it. What's her name, down on Main
Stephen
Street?
Marcus?
The older lady used to live there in that house they raised, not raised,
It's the same.
by the apartments, right next to those apartments. Right next to the apartments.
Yeah, the garage had flooded during.
Yeah. He purchased it, and he's wanting to come
Lewis?
talk and see
Is it
about
Lewis?
elevating it and stuff.
I
You know,
believe
right
The guy who
before
owns
the
Route
apartments,
22?
on Main Street.
Shannon's old house
Okay,
he's
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
And he wants to
Betancourt
raise
was
it?
the owner, I think.
He's going to do, well, before he buys it, he wants to, I think he has a purchase agreement on, but tentative. He's talking about he wants to, if he buys it, what he has to go through to get a grant. I gave him the lady's name, but he wants to elevate it and up the garage apartment too, also, and redo the whole thing. So I told him the whole, you know, what it entails to be in compliance. That's a
Now,
plus for us.
there is one request that's underneath your permitting department, and that's a request to change the A1 residential district multifamily. Several requests that Councilman Ogle had brought to the table, and so I know you've met with him, you've spoke with him, but I'll let y'all go through them one by one so that you can give the council your opinion as to, you know, what we should or shouldn't do. But Councilman Ogle, you want to just go ahead and take the lead on that?
Well, yeah, this came up actually when we had a zoning change request on Old Ponchatoula Highway to divide a single lot into 4 different lots for multifamily use. And I started to look at the ordinance and saw some things that I felt needed to be changed. So the changes that I have proposed are to establish in that section a minimum lot size for multifamily. There's currently nothing in there. And also to establish a maximum density for multifamily of 12 dwelling units per acre. It increases the setbacks to 10 feet on the sides and back. And also, I think it was a typo, maybe when we moved to Municode, that the parking spaces were supposed to be 8 feet wide by 9 feet long. So I changed that to 8 feet wide by 19 feet long. So gave that to Al. Al made an update on the formatting, I think, on one of the paragraphs. So what we want to do is bring it to the zoning commission. That's in line with what our ordinances say, and have them review it, and then it would come back to the council as an ordinance to be discussed and voted on.
Yeah, my recommendation is, we're just tweaking it, and I like it. I mean, I think it's a good change in that A1 district, because it includes single family in it also, but it just needs to be rewritten and tweaked a little bit, that's all, but it's pretty much all there.
The changes that you submitted to me, have you submitted to the council as far as the permitted uses? What, that is that
Yeah,
what you
I gave them
suggested?
all a copy.
Okay. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I know what we're looking at. We're looking at some of the changes that was recommended, but is there something different on here that we're not addressing?
No, so is the single family, where is it recommended to be put in the permitted uses?
In section, I don't have my glasses, 3686, A1 residential district, multifamily, and you got the purpose is our multifamily residential district is to provide for the location and grouping of uses that are limited to multifamily dwelling units. Permitted uses in A1 residential district, multifamily, 1 apartment houses, townhouses, condominiums, and any residential district use. That's it.
Okay. The other suggestion as far as the maximum density, you don't see any problem with that, and neither do I. I mean,
I think
that's
it
a
all
good
looks good.
recommendation.
It's in context. We just got to kind of tweak it a little bit, with
The lot size, tell me about the lot size.
lot sizes are, all our lots, new lots in town are 60 by 120, and that's an ordinance. That's in our, but that's in our town ordinance, the lot size. And they all 60 by 120, new lots.
It also states, Al, the side and rear setback lines go from 5 feet to 10 feet.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said the setback lines on rear and side go from 5 feet to 10 feet.
Yeah, for the rear and the sides only, yeah. Kind of gives it a little bit more space between the structures, because you know what it is when you got structures 5 foot apart. Well, it's 10 feet apart really, but 5 and 5. Yeah, you're limited with your room and your accessibility,
So you have no problem with that?
I have no problem with it at all.
On the parking spot, we talked about, we had the size in there, and all it says now is, off-street parking for at least 2 vehicles per family shall be provided. It doesn't give a size. Is that all right?
No, it's later in the ordinance on the second page. And actually, that size is also listed in the single-family district incorrectly. So we probably, when we go to the zoning commission next month, I think we should probably suggest that change there too and get that done as well.
Yeah, a little tweak in there, we can make it work.
It's, Brad, if you're looking, it's section F. And so, okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions by the council? Thank you very much. Mr. Dana?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Some of the matters that I've been handling, I reviewed and revised, at least preliminarily, Section 34-1, which is the mooring of non-commercial craft. In conformity with the council comments, I submitted, in fact, something to Deidre today as a preliminary draft of that, which will then, the mayor and I will review. I attended the meetings and discussions with the wage study. Also, of course, my almost daily meetings with the mayor, usually in the morning, from day to day, discussing various miscellaneous matters. A little bit on the SBA cell tower. I have gotten no response now from the contact individual with the SBA. Why, I do not know, but it's going to be some time before that expires, and I don't think he wants it to expire, but, so, unless you want me to do something, I'll just wait for his response. And then, of course, attending the council meeting, town committee meeting, and then also the mayor's court, which includes a daily review of tickets and communications with not only individuals, but also their respective attorneys, and, of course, attendance at the mayor's court and occasionally research.
Any questions for legal counsel? Hearing none, we move into council comments. Start to my right, Councilman Ogle.
I don't have anything.
Councilman Dennis.
No comments.
Councilman Haddock.
Were we supposed to officially vote on having those plans done tonight for the pipe replacement? Did we need to? Okay.
Already done.
Okay, I mean,
It's in the motion.
okay, I just didn't know if we needed to do it for any official reason. Okay, no, I'm good then.
They're working on it now.
Great.
And have been for 2 weeks now. Is that it? I have no comments. Any comment from the residents? None?
Actually, real quick, I just want to say thank you. I know it's a pain to get up and speak at the microphone, but it's fixed this week, and from what I'm being told, it can be heard on the cameras now. So everybody sitting at home watching can actually participate and hear what we're saying because everybody's using their mics, so thank you.
Have a motion for adjourn
Motion.
by Councilman Dennis.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Faison. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.